Okay, so with all this new talk about iPhone coming out with wireless charging finally, I don't know, 5 years too late, won't get into that story, but I've had Samsung devices pretty much since the beginning, and I love them. And I've had wireless charging in my past couple. But unfortunately here in my Tesla, I don't have that. So I'm going to walk you guys through exactly how we're going to enable wireless charging in my Tesla. So right now I have the Galaxy S8 Plus, and unfortunately, they don't come with a USB-C, so I actually had bought a right angle USB-C and had planned on installing that in the center cup holder so that I could just set my phone in there and charge. However, I have wireless charging. Why not utilize that? I utilize it everywhere else. I never actually plug in my phone unless I'm traveling normally. So I went ahead and found this wireless Qi charger, which is the same that the iPhone will be using, so you can use the same product. Actually, you can use everything about this video for the iPhones too. It's iPhone and Android compatible. So this is a single coil, mainly because a triple coil will be pretty large to cram into this door. So we're just going to go with a single coil, which is more than enough actually. You just need to make sure you position it right so that it sticks. So this one does have several little LEDs we can use, and it actually does have two little micro USB hookups. I haven't found any that are USB-C yet. If I do, I'll definitely link those in the description, but for now these are actually just plenty. You could utilize either one of these. You could chop this strand off and utilize this one if it is in the right spot for you, but I think where I'm going to put it, keeping this separate, will actually work out better for me. So that's how I'm gonna make it work. This should be a fun project and should involve some more Tesla modification and tearing apart the center console. And I say that lightly. It's not like we're going to gut the car to do this. It is a pretty simple, from what I have played with, mod. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So first thing first is we're going to want to use our little fun baggie that Tesla gives us with the different spacers and see exactly which spacers we will need for our phone to make sure that it is centered. This will help later down the line when we truly need to know exactly where the phone will hit to make sure our single coil charger is in the right spot. So you have two different ones. You have thinner one and then you have the thicker one. So you'll just need to kind of play around with these to see exactly what works for your phone. Okay, so we're going to want to figure out if we want the thin or the thick spacers in here. So to install these spacers, you just kind of lift it up a little bit, and then you can see right there where it hooks in, hopefully. You just kind of slide it in, snap it in like that. So we're going to try out the small spacers first because I do have a pretty big phone. It does have a small, thin case on it. It's probably the best we're going to get it because those are the smallest spacers. It is a little tight in there, but I think the more I use it, the easier it'll get. Now without a case, which I don't like doing, it fits in there a lot easier. And actually, if I was doing without a case, I'd probably want to install a larger on one side, smaller on the other. So there we can kind of see exactly where it will fit with a case on, because I like to keep my phone protected. So now we have both seats fully reclined. We're going to go ahead and take off this whole side trim piece, which actually goes all the way back, because what we need to access is right over down in here. So I'm just going to start with this and slowly pull it, which kind of hear the snaps come undone. It's just the metal clips like on the back of the seat. And you are going to have to pull hard, and this is going to sound awful, but don't worry. These metal clips are very, very robust. Just try to pull straight out. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go to the back. Rear AC. Just make sure you take out the USB clips, which they are just pressure fit. And then you have that whole unit. So back here is where the whole air unit goes. You can see right here on either side are these clips. And these clips are attached to this back thing, but also the side piece. So you want to snap those out before you try pulling that out, because otherwise you're going to go ahead and break those clips. Now that we have that out, it really gives it some flex. But you can also go ahead and pull this whole unit straight back. And then that'll help you get your fingers in here to pop the last few. One way down here. That's going to be a tricky one to get. Okay, that should be all of them, so we'll go ahead and put this seat back all the way. Go ahead and do the other side. Then we should be good to go ahead and start taking off that door.
20 minutes later.
Okay, finally got the left and the right side off. It was a little tricky. There's some clips down here. Those were the trickiest. So I actually pushed the sheets all the way forward. Was able to get them from the back. And then back here, this big bottom panel, you're gonna actually have to take that all the way off to make sure you don't break any clips. And then I just scooted it from one side to the other. You can see it's kind of locked on by this, but I just scooted it one side to the other so I didn't have to undo the actual cup holders. Now we gotta figure out how to take these doors off. This is the amount of room I'm working with. From here to there. And the hinge is right about there. So the one thing to keep in mind though is where these side pieces are going, much like that right there. So that is your soft close mechanism, so you can see how it's moving. You want to make sure you have that in the right position so that it closes softly. So keep vigilant on how that is hooked together. Okay, so it is very hard to get to the side piece right here. So what I ended up doing is, instead of using this, because this is actually too long to fit, I was able to go ahead and just use these two parts right here, which this is a Torx 20, and so I can get in on the side and actually just do it by hand, and then I assume when I tighten it, I'll just tighten it by hand. It's not ideal, but this is a very tight spot to work in, and short of removing these seats, this is all we're gonna be able to do. So I'll go ahead and remove this one. I already removed the passenger seat. Let's try to get in here without losing my bit, because it's not magnetic, because of course that would be too easy. Got to get it in the hole, and very gently I can start turning it. Not a lot of room to work. Okay, so that should be enough. Okay, and then just slowly pull this out. You don't want to lose the screw that's in it, which is right there. So we'll put that in a safe place. And then we should be able to finagle that piece that I just flung off, and that is our ratchet here. Again, put that in a safe place. We'll do the same thing on this side. Take off the ratchet, and then, as you saw, that releases our door. So now we can start the fun part and sandwiching it. So what I tested before it was in here, I tested whereabouts my charger will need to be for my specific phone, because all phones have it in a slightly different spot. So mine actually needs to be pretty much right up top here. And then I'll go ahead and have my board like that, so I can have my LEDs right here and here. Go ahead and undo these two Torx 20s. Okay, so here's how I think the design will look. I'll have to wait till I get inside to be able to get it exact. But here you can kind of see we have the charger at the uppermost point. We have our two LEDs, which will be kind of in this general area. And when we have a charging and not charging LED. And then this guy, I'm gonna see if I can somehow route it, maybe through the centerpiece, or I don't know yet. We're gonna have to figure out where to route this. But what we're gonna have to do is remove two screws, which are right here and right here, these two. Flip it sideways, you're gonna see this gap right there. And you're gonna wanna squeeze this part and this part until you hear that little click. And that will allow you to take these off, because they're held on with little pressure clips. Then on the other side, you can see this is all actually just one giant piece of rubber. And this is what kind of holds your phone in there. So you can go ahead and take that out for now. But what we're going to want to do is grind off some of this plastic right here, just so that this Qi charger, as thin as it is though, is as close to this piece of plastic as possible, so that we don't have too much of a gap. So we're going to go ahead and get a razor blade and very carefully cut that away. I am just kind of taking this blade and just chopping these little ridges off as carefully as I possibly can. And one thing to actually say while I do this, I do have a hot glue gun heating up so that we will be able to glue everything in place. I'd recommend gluing rather than taping so nothing ever moves around on you.
1 hour later.
So you can see all of the parts that I ended up cutting off. I ended up just shaving down all the big pieces so that I can put my charger here and then have some wires and then the rest of it right there. Then on this, I also did shave out those same areas so that everything can sit as flat as possible. So the way this should work out is I'll have this guy right here. And yeah, I can see I need to trim off just a little bit more right there. And then these wires will all kind of be sandwiched. And this panel will go right here with these wires just being bent to come straight down. Okay, so it definitely fits better there. Now this over here fits really well. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of tack this down with a little bit of hot glue. Keep it on low. We're gonna go ahead and tack this in the four corners. Okay, so we just tested it and the lights are in the perfect spot, so yay for that. But unfortunately with the case, it will not charge. But I'm thinking is if instead of like cutting these out like we did, what if I have just removed them? So removing them does kind of make it look like that. So maybe I'll try to like trim them down or put something in there. But without them there, let's see if it will then charge. So red light means we have power. So let's see if removing those black strips will now let it charge. And it does. So it is now charging wirelessly with a case on. I know it keeps kicking it out. So maybe there is a stronger option I'll have to look around for. But in the meantime, I think I'll go ahead and leave the black strips in there just because it looks a lot better than this. And if I need to, I'll just remove the case and go caseless. Okay, so here is our finished piece. You can't really even tell. I mean, on that one side, it's maybe a little bit bowed out. By a little, I mean not even really noticeable. So that's great. I went ahead and came out with the wire on the passenger side. Used the Tesla provided right angle. So right here, it stays nice and flush. And then I'll just go ahead and plug right in to this micro USB. Test it. Then once we're good, then we'll put the left and the right sides on because those were a pain to take off. So we want to make sure we're good before we put everything back together. So that's basically it for this video. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave these sides off for now actually, so that I can try to get a triple coil in and see if that would work, or maybe even one that's a little stronger. I don't know if I can, but anyway, here is what it looks like right now. You can see I'm actually currently charging, so that's what the blue light means. Red light up there means I'm charging. So yeah, works out great. And Tesla, if you're listening, can you please just build wireless charging into your center consoles in the future? That'd be great, thanks. I'll go ahead and leave the links in the description of all the products I used. Feel free to check it out if you would like to attempt this yourself. I would say on a level of a DIY project, this is pretty high up there and pretty involved in regards to taking down the sides and being able to make sure you can get the right charger. I'm happy with this charger, but I want one that pushes more power so that I can leave my case on, because I kind of do like leaving my case on. If you are looking for a Tesla, feel free to check out our website, teslainventory.com. Everything is broken down in a super simple, easy to use manner. You can search by any option code they've ever offered. If you are looking for a newer inventory, feel free to use my referral link at the top. You'll go ahead and save $1,000 off your order and get free unlimited supercharging, and I will be qualified for certain reward perks. So any help is certainly appreciated. Definitely thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and click here to subscribe, here for some more videos, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my